We're in this together, right?
We need a ton of trick arrows.
Gotta show me how you make those.
Hey, that was my attempt at making an intro in 10 minutes. Hey, it's you, me, and Dupree. I got my Hawkeye pop right here ready to go in the Ronin costume, all properly prepared. Hey, guys.
Is that from Endgame or recently?
That's Endgame. You got your boys, Jesse Swift and Sean Wingblade, here to do a Hawkeye spoiler review. Actually, day of release, which is a rarity. So that's pretty cool. I actually stayed up, which I wasn't originally planning on doing. So I watched it in the early. When did you watch, Sean?
Well, two different moments in time. I stayed up as well. I saw the whole first episode. I don't think I nodded off, but I was very tired just from working all day. And then I fell asleep halfway through the second episode. So, which I actually liked more. It wasn't because I didn't like the show. I was just exhausted. It was 2:00 in the morning. So I watched. I finished it this morning. Right after don't tell my bosses after I started working. I finished the show, and then I rewatched it about an hour ago just to get a fresh view of it in my mind.
This channel has not done a Marvel Disney Plus review since Loki skipped out on What If. Just because I feel like there wasn't enough to talk about there, because they're so short and quick and disjointed that it's like you could pop on for 10 minutes and be like, this happened in this episode. All right, great, thanks for joining us, and then kind of move on. Like it's more fun, I think, to do these with like it turned out that there was an arc, but you know what I'm saying, words and things, they're hard. What I said, but smarter. All right. With us today, if you saw the thumbnail that Sean made, the beautiful, beautiful thumbnail that he put together. Thank you, by the way. I just rip things off YouTube and make sloppy intros. But we are being joined today by the very awesome, very lovely Miss Allison. And tell me right now how to say your last name so I can figure it out and say it right every time.
Oh my god, my voice! Every time I come on here, my voice starts cracking and I lose it. Salamoni.
Salamoni.
Yeah, rhymes with alimony. For all of us married. Well, that was our wedding hashtag, was Salamoni matrimony. I had originally wanted collecting my salamoni, but my mother, since my parents were paying for our wedding, said nope, you're going to go with this one. So
that worked.
There we go.
Welcome. Hey, look at that.
What up, John? I hired John earlier today. He's my hype man now, from now to henceforth until he gets fired.
Perfect.
Best hype man. I didn't do my finger guns. I said I was going to do those from now on after watching Spider-Man 3.
We'll do a redo. 3, 2, 1. Finger guns. Ready? 3, 2, 1. I didn't know that we were supposed to bring guns. All right. See that?
My move now.
It's relevant.
You can't see him in this wide shot. In this.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
I was warned ahead of time that this is going to be the Allison simping for Hailee Steinfeld stream, which I'm here for. I think that sounds like
here for it.
Anyways, guys, like I said, this is the first Marvel review we've done in a while. Expect it to be not overly chaotic, but not overly structured either. I actually have a total of 0 notes, but we all saw the show. We talked about it a little bit on Messenger and stuff today. So our hopes are just that you will join us, add to the conversation, share it with your friends, like the video already if you haven't, and if you're new to the channel, hi, hello, welcome. We're only 4 subs away from 200. So click that sub button because this is one of the many things we do. There's trailer reactions, there's Monday news talks, there's Sunday speakeasies, once again with me and Sean, where we talk about whatever the fudgins.
Basically,
all right, guys.
That's our motto. Whatever the fudgins.
Whatever the fudgins. Adorable.
I love that.
My thought, I say I have no notes, but I do have banners. So one of the thoughts I had is I kind of wanted to open the show with just overall, this might be a slightly longer episode because we have 2 episodes to talk about. What are kind of your spoiler-free, without getting into all the details, how'd you feel about the show? And I want to start with our guest, kick it off here. Allison, thoughts on the show, maybe compared to other Marvel shows, maybe compared to the MCU altogether?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I feel like we need to just also change the name of Flick and Reel and make sure everyone knows that we're now a Hailee Steinfeld stan account because Hailee Steinfeld, I mean, I could gush about her for hours and hours and hours just in general, and she does not disappoint instantly whatsoever with this show.
Did you see her at the Met like 3 months ago? You know, the Met Gala in New York.
Yeah. I think I saw pictures, but
it didn't look like her.
That's right. I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, for sure.
She was crazy.
But I just want to say, like, what's weird is at events, and in the words of Kanye, I'm gonna let you finish. But at events, she looks her age in, like, you know, the most appropriate way. But they continuously, I think, play down her age in everything that she's in.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
She can look like 28 if she wants to, but everybody's trying to make her look 18 in like every movie. You got Dickinson and stuff. She always looks like a child.
I mean, Edge of 17
is people.
Amazing.
That's such a good movie.
Favorite movies. Oh, I love that movie so much.
I liked her, and then I saw that movie, and then I was like, oh no, she's fantastic. Anyways.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think it was probably for me the one show to like. I really got hooked in with the first one since WandaVision. But I also, when it comes down to WandaVision, I was telling you, and I was telling you guys in the chat, like when it comes to WandaVision, I love old sitcoms. Like we love to watch like I Love Lucy and the Three and all of that stuff. So WandaVision just like really hit it for us. And I loved how it started. But then with Hawkeye, it's great. This whole it really, really sucks you in. I also love the fact that it takes place at Christmas because it's clearly Christmas. We're already decorated. We've been decorated for about 2 weeks because that's what makes me happy. So, yeah. And I mean, the banter, just kind of everything about it. I'm hooked. I honestly can't wait to see where it goes.
Agreed.
And let's see if I get this right. Sean. Thoughts?
Very much.
Nope, I did it wrong.
I'm responding to Jeff. Do the Dickinson review. I'll come watch you. I'll give you some views, bro. I've never watched the show, but why not? I'll do it.
I'll tell you right now, I completely ruined my chances at watching Dickinson because we happened to turn on Apple TV. I was like, Dickinson, you know, we love Hailee Steinfeld. Let's watch that. So we started an episode, watched the full episode. I was like, that's good enough to be interested. And then I at the end of it said starting season 2, episode 2. I was like, did we just watch the first episode of the second season? I was like, I'm over it. I'm over the whole thing. I quit.
I did that with Game of Thrones. Not that specifically, but I didn't know it was on demand. So I had got it by other means on my computer and watched the entire first season of Game of Thrones, binged it in like a day or less, and then started season 2 and realized that every time the Dothraki were talking, there should have been subtitles. And I watched the whole first season missing every piece of dialogue that everything Khal Drogo said and the whole Dothraki.
That's hilarious.
Because whatever rip I had didn't have subtitles built into it. So I had no idea what I missed so much. I didn't go back and watch it either because they were already on season 3 and the Red Wedding had just happened. I was like, I gotta catch up.
Before the final season of Game of Thrones, I went back to do like the full rewatch. And as I was doing it, I was like halfway through, like I was getting right up to the Red Wedding, and I realized, well, this is fucking stupid. None of these people are here anymore. Like, why am I torturing myself with not remembering anything still to this day of what happens in that show?
Very
but
little happened early. Yes. Exactly. Let's get back on track. Hailee Steinfeld. She's
the best.
She was great, and I loved her comedy. And this is definitely they very well match leads in the series, where it is Hawkeye, but it's also her story, and it's not one more than the other. She's not necessarily a sidekick; like she is the lead of her story, and she's learning from him. And I think we're going to see much more of that going forward. But yeah, I liked it overall, and it wasn't definitely wasn't the worst of the Marvel. I've liked them all, but it definitely wasn't the worst of the Marvel series. As far as what grabbed me quicker, because I didn't glom on to the first few episodes of WandaVision like everyone else was like, oh, it's so cool. I'm like, yeah, it's
that's where you're wrong
as a thing. But
someone's always got to be the wrong one in the group.
I don't like to denigrate people who have other opinions other than my own.
Well, that's now the second wrong thing you've said.
Right. What else are we gonna get you for, John? Let's keep going.
But it was fun, and honestly, like all the comedy worked for me. And I think if you've seen Jerry Renner in like other movies like Tag or other comedic roles, like he likes that type of stuff. My first interaction with him as an actor in general was in SWAT, the Colin Farrell movie back in mid 2000s or whenever that came out. And he was very serious in that, and the same thing like in The Town. But you could tell he's always kind of like a little bit of the comedic relief in the Avengers movies. So it was good. He got his chance to shine and like spread his wings and stuff. And then also you see more of the comedic stuff from Hailee Steinfeld. Like I loved her in like Pitch Perfect 2, and
which is the best thing about Pitch Perfect 2.
Yeah, exactly. And
is it fair that she can sing? Like I feel like it's
I know, right?
Not.
And she's so like silly and vibrant, with the way she pulls that off. So I think both of them got such a good chance to just spread out and do their thing. I loved it.
I have thoughts. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep a video from playing. Okay,
Jesse.
To me, all right, guys. Well,
I didn't write that time, guys.
Shut up, Jeff. I said mid 2000s. I don't know.
Okay, so for any of you that haven't already, let us know your thoughts by voting on the poll that we have in there. Right now, I can let you guys know that we are sitting at. So I asked, how did everyone feel about Hawkeye? One of the first option is best MCU series yet, 17%, which is in itself surprising. Pretty good, which is kind of where I'm at. That's a 67%. Hope it gets better, 17. So far, no dumpster fires, so that is good. I think I'm more or less like I'm kind of in between and around where Allison and Sean are. Like I think it's pretty good. It's definitely not the number one for me. That's still WandaVision. I latched onto that immediately. It's also not the bottom. And I try to rank apples to apples. So first 2 episodes of each show. And for me, the first 2 episodes of Hawkeye are better than the first 2 episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and also better than the first 2 episodes of What If. I'm not sure if it's better than Loki. So right now it's at like 3 as far as the first 2 go, but that could change. Anything could change. The comedy works for me. I enjoyed the action. I don't think it's over the top. I think it's relatively grounded, except for, getting into spoilers a little bit. When you have a fire extinguisher bounce around a building and shoot out a window, that gets a little goofy and campy, but it's also Hawkeye. Like, I think it's kind of what I want. And when you're getting a fun Christmas vibe with just almost the buddy cop kind of feel, that's what I was looking for. So I enjoy this. I'm looking forward to the next few episodes, and it's weird to think we're already 30% through the show.
Right? I know, yeah, because there's only 6 episodes, right?
Right, bro.
Yeah, bro. Oh man, we got to talk about some bros.
Yeah, bro.
All right. Well, we'll wrap up our spoiler-free thoughts, and again, guys, share your thoughts and comments down below. We're gonna bounce around. This is kind of how we do it. We do not run through the whole show. Let's talk about standout moments. And Sean, I'll let you kick this one off. What stood out to you? We'll talk about this like it's one big episode. So if you want to do 2, if you want to do 1, however you want to do it.
Thank you for saying that, as I immediately was trying to differentiate the 2.
Just throw them out there.
And I was about to say, I'm going to focus on the first episode, but if we're going to just do one big episode, which it was, what was it? They were
2 hours. I mean, they were each like 40. One was like, one was like 49
and 51.
Yeah.
Okay. Longer. I thought I thought they were shorter than that. I
was there, Harold,
watching it. And hands down, if I had to pick one moment, it was the slow motion LARP scene. That was the standout. of the entire hour 50 minutes that I watched.
The debate we're having in this household right now is Lauren is debating with me, who did it better, Dean in Supernatural or Clint in Hawkeye.
I don't remember that scene. I watched all of Supernatural. I remember there was a whole LARPing thing because very, very similar characteristics. They're like, I'm not doing this.
He starts speaking Braveheart in front of all these LARPers, and he puts a wig on and does like half face paint. And
that would be my favorite scene. I would say as soon as the opening of the show, as soon as it says 2012 and they show this rooftop shot, I'm like, oh, they're in New York. Oh, shit's about to start exploding. And then the way the whole scene, it's like, oh yeah, so and so stuff falls from the sky, and I'm like, oh, you have no idea what. I was just waiting for explosions to just start happening. I was like, wait, is their building going to explode? Half their family's going to die. Is Vera Farmiga about to die in the first scene of the? No, they're like, no, I don't remember that dad being in the cast. He was in Smash.
I do have to say, Hobbit is not wrong here. Paul Rudd and Sean William Scott.
He is not wrong. He is not wrong at all.
Ooh, pop trivia. What is the name of the energy drink in Role Models? It's Bull something, isn't it? If anyone in the chat knows, like
the mascot was a Minotaur, but I don't remember the name of the drink.
I don't. Maybe Hobbit knows. That's not.
Anyways, I just remember the Kiss pinball table. And Sean William Scott telling the one kid about what Love Gun was about.
Is it just called Minotaur?
Was it just called Minotaur? I remember that was the mascot, but
give Sean all the points, all the brownie points. Well, I have to kind of take from Sean a little bit. Well, the stand-up moment I was gonna say is the beginning. I thought that was a cool way to kick it off, and I think when they do things like that, it allows you to instantly find a point of relatability with a character and latch on. You're like, okay, I remember that. And then you can kind of fill in the gaps and follow them from point A to point B. And a lot of people are saying that they didn't know how she's so good all of a sudden. I was like, it's not all of a sudden. They show that like she literally spent from
the whole
that
intro.
Point on. And the thing is, like, she's not perfect. Like, if I hear anyone say Mary Sue, I'm going to punch him in the jaw. She's not perfect. She has spent this like decade basically or so becoming a master at a certain skill. Mm-hmm. And I think in her head, she's decided that makes it to where she can be a superhero. Yeah. And she's quickly finding out that being a really good shot alone does not make you a superhero. That is not what makes Hawkeye special.
They show the progression in the opening title sequence, essentially right after that scene. And it's a great way to do a montage in animated form, essentially. Where she's fighting the guy, she loses, or she's shooting the bow and arrow once, and then she does a triple shot, and then she fights the guy again and wins. And she's, going through the like, oh, look, you just saw her training sequence. Boom, there's a training montage in 30 seconds. That was a fantastic way to do it.
I also really liked with that whole opening sequence with starting in New York and from the Avengers film, and then our first shot of Jeremy Renner is he's at that Rogers, the musical, where that's exactly what is going on in that musical, is they're doing a number that's all about that battle of New York City. So I like when things make connections like that in a way, because it's still kind of on the same page with things. I am I'm excited to see where.
Oh, there she is. Yeah, that does not.
Who is that?
Who is that? Who is that person?
I think it's the blonde eyebrows. I think that's what it is, because she usually has dark hair.
Wild.
It's that.
I wish I was gonna
Thor look.
I was gonna wear that tonight, but I couldn't get it at the dry cleaners fast enough.
You just didn't want Hailee to feel bad, right?
Exactly. I would have looked so much better in it than her, and it just would have been too much. It would have been too much for your.
Sean would have looked better in it. It's
been too much for this show. You would never have me back on. I would have.
If you want to see Sean replicate that outfit, Streamlabs link is down on the bottom.
$15 and Sean will do it.
$100, and on the next show, I'll figure out a way to get it.
It's going to be a trash bag.
Oh man. But I loved
I'll be
LARPing.
in LA by that time, so I'm sure someone in the in the house will have some makeup.
I hear LA has the best trash bags.
But yeah, no, the LARPing scene was fantastic, especially when he was just like, you know, when the one guy was like, "Well, let me kill you," and like Renner's just like, "Fuck, fine, like let's go, like whatever, like I don't care, just give me my
Can we have a
damn
moment
suit
for
back."
Grills? I like that guy a lot already. It's like I'll give you the suit, just let me kill you.
Just let me kill a superhero, and it's like he's just like whatever. I don't care.
I also thought it was very touching.
Fine.
He's like, dude, you're a superhero. This is the closest I'm gonna get.
Yeah,
I was like, that's a nice moment.
This was
such a nice moment.
They snuck little nice moments here and there, like when they're watching. Oh, okay, I'll take this since you guys didn't. I'll take my moment as Rogers the musical.
I mean, I loved it too. I was a huge fan of that one. I thought that was fan. I like when he was when she was like, "Why is your hearing aid not on?" And he was just like, "Because I was there." Hi, Ben.
Yeah,
he was like, "I was there," but you know who was it? Ant-Man.
But yeah, you see that he sees Nat and he goes into like a little emotional breakdown.
Or was he? Because they did go back in time in Endgame, so he was kind of there in a way.
That's true.
Although
I love how Endgame just
we have no idea what timeline we're in right now.
Wasn't he just watching the car?
Everything.
Yeah.
No, that's right. Because he went in there and then gave him like a cardiac arrest or whatever. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
he was floating around somewhere.
I just love that Endgame. Like the whole thing was like, because everything you learn and like with like time travel is like, you know, you can't mess with things or create paradox. Endgame was like, nah, none of that's true. Just
the subtitle.
Do whatever.
There should have been a double subtitle. Should have said Avengers Endgame Disney Plus setup, because it set up Loki, it set up Hawkeye, it set up WandaVision. It was just like everything's a direct spin-off of Endgame.
Yep. 100%. Absolutely. I'd go see Rogers the musical though.
I would cringe through the whole thing, but it'd be a happy cringe.
I would love it. I would love every second of it. I'd probably
cry.
I
think Chandra was saying that it was basically Spider-Man like turn off the lights or whatever that
turn off the dark or whatever it was. Yeah. The one that like they had to like shut down after a few weeks because people kept dying and getting hurt.
I think Spider-Man fell off this wire or something.
Yeah.
What happened there?
There was a lot.
When you're doing a Spider-Man show, you have one job, like successfully let them swing. And so
it's not happening at that one. They were not prepared for that.
Any more standout moments you guys want to go over? Immediate standout moments. I'm sure we'll talk about all kinds of things, but just like the big tops.
I like that they gave her, because you find out that she is good at what she's good at. And then they did give her a little, some standout like fighting moments. Like she could hold her own against the Red Suit Mafia, at least in the very first scene, enough to get away. She ran, and then in the second time she comes around at the very end of the first episode before Clint saves her, I guess, essentially, she started to hold her own again, but the overwhelmed by just the numbers. You can't fight off 30 people.
Yeah, I think it was fairly realistic as a 23-year-old small frame girl. Black belt's nothing against like 8 big Russian guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter who you are. If you're not, training and active, not active duty, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's different. Hawkeye's been in it for a long time. It's been a SHIELD agent. He's actually been in the thick of it.
And even then, jumping back to the Fraction comic, which I only know a bit about, I'll give a shout out to Pat, at the Montyverse. Go check out he did a great, like a 13-minute video kind of breaking down.
So good. A whole like video essay with it. Yeah, it was really good.
And the Red Suit Mafia, I think they're called something different in the comics, but
well, it's the Tracksuit Mafia, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, what did I say? Red Suit. Yeah, Tracksuit. But they get the best of Clint, not because they're better than him in anything, but because they're sheer numbers. It's just like an unlimited supply of henchmen that never stop coming. So, and that's kind of what this is based off of loosely. The MCU is going to take it their own direction.
Well, yeah, it's like Civil War is inspired. By, everything's inspired by when it comes to
based off is strong, inspired by.
Yeah. They just wanted to use the artwork is what it was.
Yeah.
This is not going to have to, No, I think what I like, because one of the things that kind of bothers me sometimes with the superhero stuff is the idea of like people like Hailee Steinfeld who have some training, but all of a sudden are like these huge badasses and can just like kick everyone's ass, and it gives like a little more realistic spin to it, which I think will help her with her growth throughout the season, with becoming better by like teaming up with Renner and seeing how that goes for sure.
We are missing, I think, one of the biggest standouts of these 2 episodes, and that's Lucky, the pizza dog.
The pizza dog.
I
love Lucky. I loved how she saved Lucky. That was fantastic. I would have done the same thing. I don't think I would have been as graceful, but I would at least tried.
Hard to do. No, like under my supervision, that dog was getting hit by a car.
I only knew vaguely that there was a dog. I had no idea what Lucky was, if he was like he or she was a genetically modified or enhanced dog of some kind, or just a dog, like just a regular dog. We're not seeing a Flarkin, like he's not going to turn into an alien or something like that, or like a shapeshifter or something like that. So I had no idea if this was going to be some magical dog or just a regular dog coming in. And I liked it. He was just like, no, I just want some pizza. Like
he only has one eye.
Yeah,
he has one eye. So he walks around like this little pirate dog. I love it.
I have to make a public announcement. Haskell, appreciate you, love you. I have seen my name spelt with an I 8 times today, probably. So I'm just public announcement. It's on here. It's on like my Schmodown card. It's all over the place. I is short for Jessica. So let's just move past that. But yeah, Saul found a major Easter egg. Good job, Saul. Hopefully one day the Disney Plus stuff will be in Schmodown, or hopefully not. Maybe let's not do that. I take it back. Retract.
Retract.
You've got to think at some point, if it's MCU, it's MCU. Like, but you know what?
If you're gonna do it, make its own division. If you're gonna start including Disney Plus, have a Marvel division.
Yeah.
And then do the same with Star Wars. Instead of being as like minute details as they are, do a Star Wars division and just add in the shows.
Well, because at some point, are they going to have to go that route with adding in the shows, even though it's like movie trivia? Like, at least like Star Wars, I feel like you're going to have to start getting into like Bad Batch and Clone Wars and Mando. Like, because what more can you pull from the goddamn Force Awakens? Like, I feel like Nikki DeMolanta literally answered every question you could fucking answer from the Force Awakens, and there cannot be another slice.
This is my fault. Allison's been on all the Schmodown after shows, and all of them, every one of them. So this, we start talking Schmodown, and then it's going to divulge into that. No,
we digress.
Well, if you're going to do a specific division, I feel like you have to do whatever is canon in that world. And so in Star Wars, the shows are canon, and in the MCU, to bring it back, the shows are canon. These shows are canon now, not, until we see No Way Home. And
then Blade becomes canon.
Yeah, well, the Netflix shows are not yet canon. But if you have characters like Wanda and Vision crossing over from the movies to their own show, you have to somehow comment on who is the bad guy in Falcon Winter Soldier, etc.
Yeah.
And it's part of the same world they live in, so you got to go for it.
For sure.
Hi Cheryl, thanks for stopping by.
Hey Cheryl,
watch it for 2 minutes and then you can mute us.
In the words of Ron Burgundy, or no, not Ron Burgundy, it would be Veronica Corningstone. Thanks for stopping by. I'm glad you brought up the Netflix Marvel, because I'm going to transition into a poll that I want to put in the chat here. It's going to be over under a certain percentage whether or not we think we see Vincent D'Onofrio, which directly ties into a character we're introduced to at the end of episode 2. Are you guys excited to see more from Echo? We just got a very small introduction.
We got the smallest of introduction because I had no fucking clue who that was.
Me either. I literally looked at my husband. I go, "Who's that?" And he goes, "I don't know. I missed it." I'm like, "God damn it!"
She has her own show, so I think maybe wait a couple episodes into the show. Not to say I don't have faith in it, but like if you're trying to push the show, be like, "Hey, did you like her? She gets her own show." Instead of I was talking to Lauren about this a little bit. When you do that, you set a bar. So when she gets introduced, we're all like, well, we better love the hell out of her. because she has her own show coming. The example that I came up with is, imagine if we're about to start watching WandaVision, right? Hasn't started yet. And they're like, Agatha Harkness getting her own show. And we're like, who, what, where, when? Like, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Multiverse. Hey, there's Pat. Speaking of, we said his name 3 times into the stream, and there he is.
That's what we did. That's how he shows up.
I mean, how did they not Kingpin with the tracksuit Draculas? Maybe that's what they are in the comics, in the New York criminal underworld. Yeah, it's either, and also Vincent D'Onofrio do be retweeting a lot of Hawkeye stuff and being like, "I'm so excited for the show." I'm like, "Where were you for Loki and WandaVision? Do you have a personal stake, sir?"
Sir. Answer.
Well,
answer.
What is the timeline? So today's the 24th. What, Spider-Man comes out in 3 weeks? The 17th?
It's close, man.
So 3 weeks from tomorrow? Not tomorrow. What's today? Today's not Wednesday yet. For 3 weeks from Thursday, right? Because it'll be a Thursday night screening. So this show will be ending the week after Spider-Man comes out. So by then, maybe that's a big bad for the season finale, because by then the multiverse will have shattered, supposedly. I mean, I think that's the anticipation, the assumption we're all going to make. So I wonder if that could be something that happens and all the timelines coincide and hit at once, type of thing.
MCU makes my head hurt sometimes. So I'm like, wait, what? How did I went back during the initial pandemic, quarantine, everything. I went back and the pandemic went back and rewatched every Marvel movie.
By the way, that's Nikki DeMolante's new name for next year. She's Pandemic.
Fantastic. But I went back and watched every Marvel movie in phase order, which got real rough when I hit Thor Dark World and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, because nothing happens in that until the very end. But I liked picking up on all the Easter eggs that I got throughout watching them, because it was my first time watching all 3 of the Iron Man movies. I actually never watched any of those. Okay. So I had no idea who Andy Serkis was in Black Panther and what his whole deal was. So that was really fun to kind of go do. But now it's all making my head hurt because I have to keep remembering all these little Easter eggs. And then there's going to be more, because now some of those people don't exist in the universe anymore. And we're here now. And it's a lot. It's almost just as confusing for me, if not more so, than Game of Thrones right now.
Why? Jesse and I are Inner Geekdom competitors who have to remember all 26 of those movies, as well as 270 more.
Jesus Christ.
Hobbit, I see what you're doing there. Or D'Onofrio coming in as Bug from Men in Black, another Marvel property.
It is
all possible. It's all possible in the multiverse.
Give me some sugar.
Oh, man. That's so funny. I like Monty's comment too. Maybe we're just going to be getting the variants of Netflix heroes,
And that's kind of my anticipation for No Way Home, and because we see Jamie Foxx, and very obviously not the Max that we know from Amazing Spider-Man. It's a very different person.
With an arc reactor, which let's just keep making this world smaller and focused around Tony freaking Stark.
Well,
I have no feelings.
He's the Steve Jobs, or he's his company is the Elon Musk or whatever, right?
The past, die.
Kill it if you have to.
Exactly.
But
that's Star Wars film, Sean. Have you heard of Star Wars?
It's a Star Wars. I think that's where
here's the money. Go see a Star Wars.
I think that we're all anticipating Toby and the Toby 3 films that we know, and the Andrew Garfield 2 films that we know, when there could be a multitude of universes. There could be thousands of others, and maybe Peter Parker looked like them in those universes, but it's not the characters we met from the movies that we saw, but another version. So exactly what Monty's saying, that it's any one of those characters could be variants of themselves.
I just want to say right now how much of an adult I am, because this is a very serious point. I see that Jesse put the results of the poll in the chat, and I had to stifle a giggle because Pretty Good is at 69%.
Nice.
That's true. Let me take a second to go over the poll results. Where'd they go? I don't know how this works. Okay. So yeah, pretty good. So we're leading at Pretty Good with 69%. Hope it gets better at 20%. Best MCU series did drop down to 10%, but honestly, the fact that anybody says that after 2 episodes was a pleasant surprise. And no votes for Dumpster Fires. That's cool. Cool.
I'll take that.
You put in our group chat earlier that you're like, I'm the only one who likes the show on the internet. So what were you seeing out there that was making you feel this way? Talk to us about your feelings, Jessica.
Well, I watched, Faction Mates, Real Rejects, and Koi, and it was like this resounding meh after each episode, and I was like, really? Okay, all right. And then I'm gonna say the swear word that nobody likes around here. I was watching John Campea, hate on me, and he was trying to cancel doing reviews for Hawkeye because he hated it that much, and his new co-host Ray not into it at all, and I think the third host Kim was the only one that was like, I thought it was fun. And seeing things on TikTok and stuff, so it was getting kind of mixed. And so I hadn't really talked to you guys yet, so I was like, wow, am I the only one? And then I come home, and Lauren also liked it, but she was like, let me tell you all the things I don't like about it. And I was like, oh, okay.
Great. And I watched the first episode at work, so that was fun. Just kind of locked myself in an office while all my behavior techs were working, and I was supposed to be kind of around, but it was fine. I pretended I was in the meeting.
On a conference call.
What I kept saying. I was like,
I don't know why. The way you said that.
Very specifically, I have 32 minutes left on this conference call.
I have 15 minutes and 46 seconds, and I will come and get you, I promise.
All right. So this has been saying standout moments for like 30 minutes. We're going to move on to our next topic and mix up a little bit. And I think actually it was a good transition because I was talking about how much everybody hates the show except for us, apparently. Whoops. Let me smack things. What didn't work? Because no show is perfect. We could take any one of the MCU shows or movies and be like, oh, something didn't work. Whoever wants to take it first can, because I have to think for a second.
I would say, just again, because I don't have as much knowledge in all of this. Like, I had to go before I starting the second episode. I went and watched Monty's video, which I have to make sure I let everyone know I'm not affiliated with the Montyverse. He asked me to say that if I was going to plug his video. No affiliation with the Montyverse. That's all him. But went to go watch it so I could have more of an understanding before getting into the second episode. I feel the first episode was very fast paced and like really like go and like caught your attention with every little like aspect of it. And then in the second episode was good, but I think it slowed down a lot more after, the fire scene and everything. And then it kind of just, even though the LARPing scene was great, but it's like, okay, now we're just going to go on a hunt for a suit for like 25 minutes. Like, what else is there going to be? Because I know that we have to build characters and build, the storyline in that way. I just think the only issue that I really had was you have like this great standout first episode, and then you get into the second episode that starts kind of strong. that starts strong, and you're getting that kind of banter and everything with it, and then the lull in the middle I think was just too much of a lull before it kind of picked back up again. That's where it kind of lost me for a second. Really
quick, dropping this in here for Hobbit. Boom, an arc reactor. Clear as day. It's right there.
Well, and to point to that, like what Pat says too is true, because he needs a constant power source, and that way that he can be mobile. He doesn't have to be near power lines. So it kind of makes sense if they go that route. If we're writing the,
you guys should have had Pat on here instead of me. He knows a whole lot more.
Pat is more than welcome to come on the show and just
drop me. Drop me and let him in. Send him to Streamlabs.
See, and Andy, same. Like I didn't hear a bunch of negatives. I wasn't really out searching for reviews though today. I was working, so maybe that's why. And I didn't watch before. I don't like to watch non-spoiler reviews before I see anything, a movie or a show either. So I wasn't out there searching for stuff, but it wasn't like Twitter was blowing up like, oh, this is the worst thing to happen.
Twitter's the one place I haven't really looked for stuff. It's just like, I run life off YouTube, so I follow a lot of people on there, and yeah, I was getting a lot of mixed things.
But to point to that, I wonder how the viewership was, because I also wasn't seeing Twitter blow up about the show.
No, whenever I do hashtag Hawkeye, hashtag Disney Plus things, and whenever I'm trying to talk about something topical on Twitter, it says like X amount of tweets in the last hour. And considering I did like a tweet right after the show, I was like 300 tweets in the last hour. I was like, ooh, that doesn't seem like a lot.
There was very much conversation in the moment and into the morning with like every show, and especially like there's Mephisto's everywhere, right? Or Hawkeye was like, what's his name? What's Jonathan Majors?
Kang.
I was like Krang. No, that's
Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles. I'm
too
like,
much IG study. You know what though? We're all thinking about Wilson.
One world.
We're all thinking about Wilson.
I can't hold them out. They're all coming in.
Being in the show, we can call him Mephisto if he doesn't show up. It's funny. Don't pretend like it's not. All right, I'm just gonna.
Just takes himself out. Just leaves his own show.
All right, John can run it. He knows how this works. Make a bunch of bad dad jokes.
I heard a really good. I heard a really good dad joke the other day. It's why do cows only have hooves instead of feet? Because they lactose.
Oh no! All right. So cons. I think the dialogue was not always A1. Speaking of jokes falling flat, it's not bad. I think a lot of people blown it out of proportion. It's just I don't think it always resonated, and I also think that the show doesn't yet feel like it has focus because it's trying to split between giving you what you know and want, which is Clint, and also introducing us to a new character and giving us supple background knowledge and information to get invested into this character. And I think maybe it should have been like maybe a full episode of Kate, a full episode of Clint, and then have it like kind of converge, sort of what they did with Falcon and Winter Soldier. Only because I almost feel like we're getting a little bit of whiplash with Kate. Like we got like the beginnings of the story, big fast forward, and then she's basically Kate Bishop. And it would have been nice to see more time and experience with her mom, what her life is like. And she pretty much bumbles right into Hawkeye almost immediately, and the story starts. I don't know if that's what the show needs, but it just felt like if we're going to talk about things that could be lacking, that is one of my thoughts.
Well, then it's, do we need more than 6 episodes? But again, every episode is like a film production, right? It's the same thing that happened in Falcon and Winter Soldier. We only got 6 episodes because every episode cost billions of dollars, it felt like, to make, because they're all little mini movies. So, it would have been great to have like a whole Clint episode, but then would it then rush the storyline for the rest of it because we're spending another hour straight on Clint?
Can I ask you guys both a question really quick? Do you think okay, fine. Continue on. Do you guys think that expectations have something to do with this? Not like, oh, you guys are expecting too much quality, but like content expectations, because I felt like that had a lot to do with the downfall of the review of Eternals and things, is people thought it was going to be something, wanted something out of it, didn't get that, and then I think the review suffered for it. Now that's not the case for everything, but I think that like maybe people want Hawkeye to have like a diehard edge to it, or they want it to really be all about Clint Barton. And you see from that opening credits, it's not Clint's show. It's called Hawkeye because the Hawkeye is a mantle that is getting passed. This is the Kate Bishop show, and Clint's along for the ride. He is going to be the, this is Batman Beyond. It's Hawkeye Beyond. And I kind of had a feeling of that. And so I was like prepped for it. I was excited for it. I think Kate Bishop on her own is a super awesome character. We're moving into the Young Avengers territory. So I had zero problems with it. But again, expectations. do you guys think that that's kind of what some of the MCU fan sphere is feeling right now?
Are you telling me that the internet wrote a movie in their head before the movie came out and was disappointed that the movie didn't match?
And bitched about it on Reddit?
I would never be so presumptuous to say that.
What you're saying? How dare you, sir?
I think from the perspective of someone who does not compete in IG or compete in general, because I'm not that. I like telling them I'm a dodo, so I just don't compete, which is never going to happen. When you're with the way that Marvel is and the way that these movies are, you have. I feel like the majority of the people that are coming to watch this stuff are lay people, kind of like I have a little bit more invested because I have some understanding of the characters. I live with a husband who loves all of this stuff too, so he's able to explain a lot to me, which is helpful. But I feel like a lot of the people that are complaining are people that, again, have that expectation of like, we're getting a Hawkeye show. This is great. I love Hawkeye. He was my favorite Avenger. He was this. And then they're watching something, and then you're getting maybe out of the 2 hours, you're getting 35 minutes total of Hawkeye, and maybe only like 10 of those minutes are him actually fighting. So people,
I will say the marketing didn't help the situation. The marketing made it seem very 50-50 or even 60-40. It's like, oh, hey, look, Clint Barton's getting a sidekick. I was like, that's not exactly what this is. It's more like Kate Bishop's getting a mentor than Clint Barton's getting a sidekick.
Right.
But if you don't know that story and you're going into what you're going into, and I think the same thing happened with WandaVision. The first 3 episodes was just straight different, or 4, even maybe almost 4 was just straight, I loved it, but I also have the understanding that there's something bigger going on here. Like Marvel's
there's a lot of people ready to dip out the first couple episodes of WandaVision. I remember that reception.
Yeah. And you're just like, but you have to, like, that there's more up the sleeve. And then once the reveal happens, then you're like, oh shit. And then it's just like reveal after reveal after reveal. And I probably think people maybe still have a bad taste in their mouth too with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. With like, you're waiting for these reveals and then they have like one and then it's like done, so it's been there. I feel like it's been a lot of hit or miss with these Marvel shows in general. And like I said, like when you're advertising for a Hawkeye show and it's called Hawkeye, and because it's based off of, it's inspired by that specific Hawkeye graphic novel series, then people who don't read it or who don't know, they're just walking in thinking they're getting Hawkeye, and then they see Hailee Steinfeld on their TV for the majority of the time. And they're like, well, what the fuck? That's not what I signed up for. And they all complain about it.
I think, though, and this goes to any sort of like, whether it be a sporting contest or anything else, you want people to love you or hate you. You don't want people to just be indifferent to you, because then they don't show up. They don't pay to see your product, whatever that product, whether you're a fighter, you're a movie, you're whatever.
If you're trending, you're one or the other, right? If you're smack dab in the middle, nobody's talking about you. I think that's a really great point.
And I think that's kind of where this is currently falling, just because the lack of response, whether positive or negative, the lack of awareness on Twitter and social media and stuff.
And then what's the big thing that drives these Star Wars and Marvel shows? It's the multiverses of it all. The people doing breakdowns, the Emergency Awesome, the new rock stars and stuff. And when you give them like, hey, this dog's in the comics, this person's probably this person. Oh, what's this been? 40 seconds? All right, well, thanks, guys. Join us next week. And I think that's what we're like, we don't need Easter eggs. Obviously, that's not what determines enjoyment, I think, but I think it does have a big impact on how well things trend across the interwebs. And I think Hawkeye was never meant to be that. We're not dealing with high concept things of time and multiversal like travel or reality warping Wanda, things like that. I guess it still says cons. This is turning into a full conversation. So pros, cons, pros.
Well, to speak to what Ed's saying, and this is totally true, speculate responsibly with everything. Like, don't write the movie in your head. Let the movie show you what it is, and go from there. And exactly what Pat's saying. This is definitely Act 1. This is going to be a 6-episode run, and we just saw the first 2 episodes. We're a third of the way done already in one day. So we got 4 more weeks, and we'll see what happens.
For sure.
I'm here for it. Give it all to me.
Speaking of 4 more weeks, I think, thank you, Sean. You're just killing these transitions right now because, boom, next week's predictions.
That's what I predict.
Let's talk about what we think. And awesome. Hey, look at that. We're hitting the double digits. 10 people in the live chat. Appreciate you guys very much.
Thanks, guys.
If you haven't already, please click that like button. Always trying to break records. Where are we at right now? We're sitting at 14. Can we get 6 more? 20 would be pretty solid on our first review for the Hawkeye show.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun. Super fun.
Predictions. Underground war mob fights.
Well, clearly they got to get out of whatever shenanigans they've gotten themselves into. So
eggs,
might a little
more
so
eggs.
many eggs.
So many eggs.
Egg Lord.
I think that they
did. You say Egg Lord?
I did say Egg Lord just for Monty. For Nikki.
Get out.
Get out. I love her.
I think that they didn't set up a lot of mystery in the show. I didn't know who that character was at the end. You told me it was Echo. Great.
Well, just because I knew who they cast.
Okay.
Like, they cast her a while ago.
So we'll find out who she looked like next week.
Also, when she was holding the speaker is, she's deaf, so she was feeling the music.
Okay, that makes sense. That's kind of what I gathered from that.
She is a deaf taskmaster for
oh no, Jesse, you started a war with Monty. He wants to know what your beef is with his girlfriend, the Egg Lord.
I don't have a beef. I thought you were like making an edgelord joke.
No.
Eggs, and so I was like, this is the worst joke. No. I'm sorry, I missed that whole thing.
Nikki's nickname is the Egg Lord. But the only mystery is, what is Jack? Where is Jack coming from? Right? He's moving in. He's the nephew of the Armand that got stabbed with a sword. And obviously,
which I feel, and then they give it away in like the second episode, right? Like he's like, "Here, have a butterscotch," and I'm like,
"Yeah."
Are they? But then it's like, it's also MCU, so or it's Marvel. So are they gonna like give us another complete 180, and we're gonna have no idea? And like, who knows?
I don't know, Sean.
Echo's so cool. That away.
Obviously,
we'll find out. I don't know. I just don't know anything about the guy. But I mean, I don't know if they gave anything away about him other than saying he's been to his uncle's house because they had a bowl of candy sitting there. And you can get, butterscotch from anywhere. Granted, not with your name printed on it.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. But I just mean, but a freaking article spoiled who he was, because that could have been a little bit of intrigue. And they're like, Tony Dalton cast as, and there's a shot of his villain fucking regalia, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. 2 weeks ago,
interesting
the series came out. I'm like, I don't need to know that.
Sure, that's going to be a villain in the comics. He's not initially a villain. He's actually one of the people that like helped train and bring up Hawkeye. I don't know if they're going to have any connection in the show. Again, I'm sure things that if you popped over to the multiverse, he'd be telling you all that good stuff.
I mean, we don't know anything about Hawkeye's origin other than, he was an assassin, joined S.H.I.E.L.D. The whole thing with, we got red in our ledger, that the whole thing between him and Scarlet, him and Black Widow. But so we don't know, where did he train? Where did he grow up? So they could at one point do a face-off, and they're like, I haven't seen you in 20 years, something like that. And they came up together, or he was like an older brother to him. They trained together at their fucking, super secret hideout. And
they have a lot of balls and a lot of courts in the show, because we got the Tracksuit Mafia, which is connected to Echo. So we got that going on. We very suspicious of Eleanor Bishop, and also we got the Swordsman, which is Jack. And it's like every corner there seems to be something different going on. So this is going to either be like trying to juggle too many balls, or it's all connected. And I'm really hoping we start seeing the threads intertwine in these next few episodes. I want to see some Echo action if we're doing predictions for next week. I think that car scene that's been very popular, we've seen in the trailers and they showed on Disney Plus, I think that's next episode, because they're being chased by the Tracksuit Mafia. And I think it's going to be Clint and Kate getting out of that situation.
When I first
do you
saw
think
that,
they're going to do that early on too in the episode, or do you think that'll be?
I think it's a midway point of the episode, because I think they're going to be in there for a while.
Yeah,
there's going to be some dialogue, some exposition happening, and I say that with a deaf character. So now forget what I said. We're going to find out some information somehow. I don't know.
What's interesting though is it seems like at least the member of the mafia that like came in there didn't seem to really know sign language so good. So I'm like, how is she going to communicate? Because that's what I love about Eternals is like everybody knew sign language so they could communicate with Makari.
Right.
These dim bulbs can't barely make their way around the English language.
I'm
not to be racist. Obviously, I only know like 1.5 languages, but I love how dumb they are. The hardest my wife laughed is when they keep interrogating. They're like, "Where's Kate Bishop?" And she falls through. I found her, bro.
Oh, one of those guys in the tracksuit mafia too. That again, a quick little side note. But one of like the extras in the tracksuit mafia that you like a featured extra you keep seeing is this guy Carlos Navarro, who is a radio DJ on a morning show here in Orlando that like does acting on like the side. So that was he popped and I was like, oh look, Carlos made it. That's cool.
He made it on the show.
He made it on the show. That's nice.
That's nice. That's funny.
No, I think I definitely next week. I hope we get more of Echo. I'd like to see more of that because I don't know a lot of these characters. I don't know a lot about because I've not like done like the deep dive into the comics aspect of it, which is why I needed Monty's video to kind of help explain a few things for me because I'm still I learned right along with everyone else of who people are along the way. So
part of why so many people are predicting that Kingpin Wilson Fisk shows up is because he has very direct ties to Echo. I don't want to misspeak, so Monty can clear that up. I think she's his daughter, but maybe it's something else. I want to see Wilson. That's the cool thing about like possibly integrating the Netflix shows is they've never done anything that contradicts the MCU. Mm-hmm. So even though like outside of a few little ties, they're not like super closely connected. There's also no reason why they can't, except for like some of the bigger events didn't seem to really affect the Marvel Netflix stuff, like when the galactic things were happening. But they can work around that. I don't think it's very hard, and I think we could adopt a daughter. It's complicated.
It's complicated.
They lived in the MCU's world the same way that every biopic lives in the reality of our time. So, like these are a
fascinating way to think about it.
That's how I always think of like every biopic as a shared universe. If you think about it,
I want Taron Egerton to meet Rami Malek then.
Yes.
But speaking of the Netflix shows, Kilgrave is probably still one of the best villains of all time for sure.
When are we going to get a David Bowie biopic with Tilda Swinton? I feel like that needs to happen.
Like that was talked about, or when it was just like wished about, people talking about it.
That would be really, really good. Oh, thanks, Monty, for the and Meryl Streep.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I started getting confused. For a long time, I thought Kingpin was her father, and then I remember reading it's like Kingpin killed her father, and I was like, "Wait, suicide? I'm confused." I guess Daredevil was his 13th reason.
That is the plot to Hard 8, which is a PTA movie.
All right.
Well, don't get me started. I can't do any more Paul Thomas Anderson. I'm over him. I tried 3, and then everyone's like, "Watch this one," and then watch this one
last night.
I don't want to watch 2 more movies just to determine I don't like someone.
I just thought to check it. We got a Streamlab, so that's very cool.
$100. Do I have to do makeup next week?
So I feel really bad about this. Hopefully, the money already hit, so that he can't refund it. But John Lastrina.
Lastrina.
Okay.
Is it a Fast and the Furious quote?
It's definitely.
Now I have to ask: did they change it to Lastrina? If you catch that reference, you're my favorite. Okay. There's no wax on, wax off with drifting. You learn by doing it. The first drifters invented drifting out here in the mountains by feeling it. So feel it. Completely relevant. I appreciate it.
That's Lastrina's #family. If you have never had Lastrina in your streams, He is Fast and the Furious. I've never, and it's one of those things like you can say I've never met a human being that's been so committed to a bit than John Lustrina, but it's not a bit. Like it's just not. Like he is.
I feel like the entire What the Show group is a bit, and they all like know their individual parts. So
Lustrina, it's every, and let me tell you, every stream he's in, he throws it's Fast and the Furious quotes, and it's never the same one. It's never the same one. So
you will never run out of fast quotes.
So wild. I literally everything, and then everything you post on like Twitter or whatever. Like I posted a picture or I posted a thing today about like being in the gym earlier this morning, and he just puts a really cool Fast and the Furious like GIF as a response. I'm just like, I just want to carry Lustrina around with me all the time for all my Fast and the Furious inspiration. So I'm so glad you got your first one from John Lustrina. That just made my day that I was here for it.
Perfect.
There he is, bitch. Show me. That's what I said. It's not a bit, Lustrina. I said some people think it is, but it's not. It is just it's just you, and I love you for it.
Well, I was going to compliment us on making it under an hour, but that $5 bit took us over, so we appreciate you for so many different reasons. Guys, it's been a pleasure to have everyone on. Allison, obviously, you're welcome back anytime. I know that you'll be joining us for some Spider-Man conversations coming up here, which we'll do some plug-in and then some plug-in. But go ahead.
I'll say I spent so much time watching the Spider-Man movies, and the two of them are so bad. They're so bad.
Yeah, and maybe not the two that people expect. You know, we'll talk about that for sure.
We'll talk.
Allison will be joining us for, we could have called it Toby Talk.
Toby Talk.
Okay.
Seabiscuit Talk. Seabiscuit Spider-Man.
Such a better name.
There it is. So Sean, I should have asked you. I don't even know. Are you going to be on the show?
I don't know when you're recording it.
What?
No,
are we scheduling right now?
Bare minimum, it's going to be me, Scott, and Allison. And we, for the 3 weeks leading up to the release of No Way Home, this is related. It's all Marvel. We are going to break it down differently than everyone else because we're hipsters like that. We're not going to review individual movies, and we're also going to try to avoid pitting the portrayals against each other. It's going to be more of a portrayal analysis. So we're going to first talk about the collection of Toby films, talk about what worked in the performance, what didn't work, what could have been improved, things of that nature. And then we're also going to do it for Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland. Because I think everyone could have done something different. But we'll see what how everyone feels about that. Please join us for those shows. We will have release dates for that.
It'll be so fun.
Well, we were trying to go there, and he shut the car door on us.
I laughed the wrong way.
That's true. It's 2 episodes. You are allowed to go over.
How do you know you're old? You laughed the wrong way.
Yes.
Full of rib.
I was like sitting like over like this. I laughed, flexed the wrong way. It hurts now.
This is just for we're simping over Sean's inability to laugh properly.
Proper posture. Open up.
All right, guys. Thank you. So let's sign off here. Let's make our way through that. Allison, where can the good people find you besides every other channel?
Everywhere I decide to invite myself onto is what it's come down to. Still waiting for the Montiverse invite though. No, you can typically find me at Allison Salamoni over on Twitter. I am with the guys Ben Renner and Ryan Payne and John DiGregorio over on Mount Schmodown on Saturdays, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. We're not having shows for the next couple of weeks because you got the holidays and then Spectacular, but we should be coming back strong the following week. And then, I wherever people want to hang out with me, I'll hang.
Spectacular wrap up.
Yeah. Am I doing a Spectacular wrap up?
Sure. Oh, I mean, if you're coming back the week after, I assume you're going to talk about the matches.
I mean, I think that's what we're going to do. Probably something like that. I don't know. Ben plans it. I just show up. That's what I do around here. I just come in, make people laugh.
Jesse and Wingblade, you are more than welcome on the Multiverse. Well,
you're such a dick, Pat. He purposefully left me out.
Are we welcome in the Multiverse? That's key.
Real quick, is it spelled Salamone? Is that
it is?
Okay. So if I hit this button right here, that's right in the chat. Allison said them.
Is it in the chat? Yep.
Perfect.
Yes.
Great. Follow her. But like not in a creepy way, like a completely like platonic and
or creepy. I don't care. It's fine. Whatever.
Follows. So if you want to give us some creepy subs, if we can get 4 more creepy subs, we'll be at 200, and that's exciting. So help us get there.
It's very exciting.
Sean, other than being on here talking about Hawkeye, which we will be doing next week, Thursday, probably 7:30 p.m. So a little earlier, but also later, like a day later. That's yeah. All those things. Sean, where can people find you?
Where are we? Up here. At Sean, this way. At Sean. You may not find me on this show next week because I'll be in Los Angeles. So I don't know what'll happen. Maybe I'll hop in on my phone or something. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, maybe you just bring to the hotel. We'll just have a real chaotic review of episode 3.
If I'm on
you
camera,
also in?
You will be.
Not yet. I come Friday night for Schmodown. Yeah, everyone's real happy that I'm down there for 24 hours. Like, this is not what I subscribed to. I didn't donate for you to come. It's like, well, yeah, there's tickets.
Yeah, it is what it is.
All right, anyways,
work won't let them off. They won't detach the chain until Friday night. And
I haven't been with the company long enough, and excuses. Anyway, and you can find me also up above on the banner there, and also on my own channel. Go figure. I'm here every time a video pops up. I'm probably there, so you can count on me hosting whatever show there may be. Sundays, Speakeasy. Monday, News and Views. Now Thursdays, Hawkeye reviews while we're doing that. And Saturdays sometimes will be the Spider-Man thing. We're very organized here. We appreciate you guys joining us so very much. Also follow us on Twitch where we do gaming things and stuff like that. But my throat's getting dry. I've been out of water for about 20 minutes. Don't want to lose my voice.
No, that's not fun.
Oh my God.
It's not a fun time.
Until next time, guys, thank you so much for getting us to however many likes we got to. Now we need 3 more creepy subs. Until next time, until the next video, until the next blah, 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 blah. Keep it real. And we will talk to you guys on the fly. Where's the thing?